Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We've covered, we're about the halfway point for this week's books, so let's keep moving along with Spider-Man number 5. Where we left off, Peter Parker had apparently been wiped from existence. However, at Oscorp on Earth 616, an experiment of a interdimensional experiment is being tested by an Oscorp employee named Peter Parker. Things, however, are not looking good for the spiders. So this issue actually goes into the origin of this new 616 Peter Parker. He was never bit by the radioactive spider. Constantly bullied by Flash Thompson. One night, a burglar shows up. Also, it's pointed out that while there is a spider-themed vigilante around, Silk, there's no Spider-Man. But the Parkers are robbed. Peter rushes the robber and gets shot. Ben takes the robber out with a solid right cross. But Peter's leg's messed up. He'll probably never walk unassisted again. Turns to school with a crutch and gets still being bullied. And who is it that steps up to stop him from being bullied? Flash Thompson. Basically, hey, Pete, you did something crazy. What you did was one of the most heroic things I think anyone could ever do. So, But Peter is dating Liz Allen. He's present when Sandman attacks Midtown High and is stopped by Silk. He keeps something of a scrapbook of Silk's clippings and gets her attention with one of his science experiments and ends up helping her out. Turns out that while she was encouraged to hide away in a bunker for her safety, she felt that she couldn't do that. And so Peter Parker becomes Silk's IT guy. Peter gets an Oscorp scholarship and now is working at Oscorp. And the receiver, a strange storage container comes through, filled with webbing and spiders. That spell out the word help. That is where a story is. We get a backup story featuring Monica Rambeau. Peter's on his way to a concert, but he's having trouble getting there, but he shows up as Spider-Man, runs into Monica Rambeau, who is protecting a VIP, and the Rhino shows up. Spidey and Monica fight the Rhino, and then Spidey, wearing a neck brace, and Monica get to jam out on stage. And that is where the issue ends. Okay, that was an interesting A story. I imagine that somehow this 616 Peter is going to be kind of a, until something will occur to turn him into, the Peter Parker we all know and love. So, But yeah. Moving on to our next book, we've got Mary Jane and Black Cat number 3. Where we left off, MJ and Felicia were in limbo. Belasco needed a means to, well, wanted to retrieve his soul sword and take control of Limbo. So he got Black Cat to steal it for him. And it's in the Screaming Tower. So while MJ and Black Cat are dealing with the defenses of the tower, they run into none other than the demon Sin. So they come to a deal. Basically, they'll work together, and being open with the fact they're going to betray one another. But for the moment, they'll work together. Meanwhile, it turns out that the various groups gathered outside are waiting for someone to steal the soul sword and leave the Screaming Tower with it. That way they can all fight over the sword itself. But one thing that's been going on is that Mary Jane has kind of slot machine related powers that are kind of, she kind of does a, like slot machine pull, and the results come up and she gets powers based on that. But lately they've been on the fritz. All of her attempts seem to not be great powers. But the trio continues their making their way through the tower until they reach the Guardian. MJ, oh hey baby, maybe it's Black Cat's bad luck aura. Brings this up, but Black Cat has that moment of, no, I've really been working at local, focusing it. So this only to affect my enemy. Then she kind of, with the pending date with Peter, well, maybe she's beginning to see, maybe to a point, she maybe sees MJ as an enemy. MJ puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that, what's going on. And the reason why her new powers are on the fritz is maybe because of Peter. And that is where the issue ends. I'm digging this. If I had a single complaint about last week's Amazing Spider-Man, I don't have. It's not so much complaint. It's more if I could change anything. What I would change is basically having Jed McKay be the guest writer, as Jed McKay does an excellent job of writing Black Cat. And I think it would be interesting to see McKay write Black Cat in a book where she's not the focal character. It's cool seeing her, getting her perspective on things. Like how much it kills her that, she can lie to Spider-Man's face and he'll trust her. But it'd be interesting to see, I don't know, maybe Peter's POV on Black Cat and on McKay's Black Cat. So, but yeah, I'm not complaining. It's good. It was a solid issue. I'm looking forward to the next one. Just to see how as the cover puts it, worst date ever pans out. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Spider-Man: The Lost Hunt, number 4. Where we left off, the woman that Peter had befriended, Tracy, was revealed to be Gregor's mother, Aja Orisha. And Gregor left her for dead after she tried to heal what Gregor had done to Peter. And while the physical wounds have been healed, he has currently lost his mind a bit, though. And showing up at his MJ's place, very clearly not in control of his faculties. So we get Agent Orisha's origin. Throughout the issue, we've got Orisha's origin as well as interspersed with MJ trying to talk Peter down. So Agent Orisha is from Wakanda, 150 years previous to this story. She was recruited into the Umama Asasi, a group of mystics that and spiritualists who helped with protection of Wakanda. She went through various trials, learning meditations, rituals, all manner of truths about that aspect of existence, the spiritual and faith and more faith-based aspects of existence. And then she went through the final ritual, where she was buried alive and had to face her demons. But it wasn't so much about, while at first she faced and defeated her demons, they rose again stronger, more savage, and so she, rather than fighting them, came to accept them. But that meant also accepting the wanderlust that she felt. And eventually she left. Just kind of wandering Europe, Asia, eventually the United States. She had earned money. She had gained money along the way and used that to infiltrate the higher echelons of society. Also, while all this is going on, Gregor has used some of his knowledge of his occult knowledge to take control of the animals in a local zoo. During Orisha's time in New York, she met Dr. Henry McKay. They were married 3 weeks after they met, but he died suddenly 2 months later and left her 2 things: unspeakable grief, and their son, Takar, now known as Gregor. Eventually, she kind of pulled her, started helping those less fortunate, but also continued to move around in higher upper society, where she met Sergei Kravinoff. And Kravinoff became Takar's father figure. She tried to impart the same teachings that she had went through as a child with Sergei, but they didn't necessarily take, including burying him alive. Rather than being buried alive for 2 weeks, however, 4 days. Orisha nursed him back to health, and eventually Sergei left with Takar in tow. And she watched Sergei from afar, seeing him become Kraven the Hunter, going after the spider, and of course his last hunt. Now she's trying, but throughout all that, never did Takar, now calling himself Gregor, come back to her. But shortly after MJ's able to get through to Peter, Orisha shows up and basically just, says, you know, my son, Takar, Gregor, is coming for you. And it was like, oh wait, no, too late, he's here, with a menagerie of animals at his command. And that is where the issue ends. I'm really digging this miniseries. I feel like this makes a nice companion piece to the Ben Reilly Spider-Man miniseries that came out back during Spider-Man Beyond. It also helps that they're written by the same writer, but time periods are around the same. So, moving on though to our next book, we've got Hulk, number 12. Where we left off, Monolith Monolith and her people had discovered something was not right with the Hulk's brain, and has been feeling the need to tell him about it. But at the same time, no, she's ordered her scientists to keep it to themselves, and she intends to broach some of it herself. Though apparently Hulk is beloved on this strange planet he's ended up on, which is populated by basically Hulks. Banner's being dismissive and arrogant in his dealings with Monolith and her people. However, he notes in the control center that some of the other banners that help maintain everything with Starship Hulk are missing. He goes to speak with Doc Samson. Meanwhile, Titan is talking to Hulk in the engine room. While Bruce is talking with Samson, he sees out the window his father. When they leave the simulation, they briefly follow David Banner through the corridors and find the bridge, a slaughterhouse. But Monolith tells Hulk what they've found. Apparently, there are nuclear weapons in his brain. Banner explains that in the event of his death, that's the hope. The hope is that the nukes go off and hopefully destroy Banner and destroy Hulk. But he needs to, and so Hulk needs to leave. But his friend Pave pulls him back down, and the plan is to remove the nukes. The SOS is sent out, and Banner and David Banner kicks Bruce into the engine room. Meanwhile, back on Earth at Strange Academy, Doctor Strange gets a message from Doc Samson, now Sasquatch. They need to speak about when it comes to the Hulk. David Banner appears to be now in control of Starship Hulk, and begins the engine stage. But Banner's able to use some of the meditative techniques he's learned to try and keep Hulk calm as the engine stages continue being increased. All the way up to stage 9 even. But apparently it's for Samson seems to believe that it's Doctor Strange to help build the Mind Palace, though Strange says, no, it wasn't me. I had nothing to do with this. But Strange thinks they need to get help before it's too late, and is heading in. While Monolith and people are trying to remove the various bits of tech hidden within the Hulk's body, that have been implanted within the Hulk's body. But Titan reveals himself to basically taking on the form of David Banner as he basically pushes the engine as far as it'll go, and there's a massive explosion from Hulk's head, and that is where the issue ends. Things are ramping up in Hulk. It was announced recently that the book is coming to an end soon. I think it has to do with Donny Cates' abrupt departure. He's still getting plot credit. So it seems he probably had notes, which artist Ryan Otley is going off of with the scripts. But it looks as though here a month or two, I can't remember if it's next month or I actually thought it was going to be this month's issue, but apparently not. But yeah, I mean it's still a good story. I'm really digging it. So moving on though to our next book, we've got Murderworld, Moon Knight, continuing the series of Murderworld one-shots. So we were down to 4. Leapfrog, Eden, who had lost an arm. And then the other woman who joined them is revealed to be a Hydra operative, taking down LMDs, and the whole thing is to go in and go into Murderworld, get the LMD tech that Arcade has, and destroy the facility and kill the staff so no one may use it but Hydra. Especially killing Arcade. Our quartet of survivors make their way through, seemingly end up in the control room, but they're faced with it turns out that it's a fake control room with more LMDs. They make their way back through and end up on a what appears to be an urban rooftop, and Moon Knight attacks. There are no real... Moon Knight's not much of a talker, so they don't have a lot of audio files for him, or things for him to say. So he just kind of says things like, "Moon kick! In the name of the moon, I'll punish you!" Yeah. But, the Moon Knight LMD finishes off Eden. And Leapfrog. And, well, all but one of the, before it can definitely take out the other 2 survivors, LMD is shot by Black Widow, who intends to finish this. That is where the issue ends. Next month's Murderworld Game Over will be the end. We'll wrap the series of one-shots up. I want to just refer to it as the Murderworld miniseries, but yeah, they're putting them as one-shots. So yeah. Moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got House of Slaughter, number 12. Where we left off, one of the Butcher's charges, Sonny, had left Butcher's camp and had been found by other hunters, namely a woman named Jolie. In fact, he had been saved from a monster that was in the nearby area. Well, Jolie explained that the monster that they killed, well, it's got some babies around, and well, they're going to kill the babies, and asking if Sonny wants to watch. Meanwhile, Butcher's trying to find Sonny while keeping his other charges with him. We get a flashback to Butcher and Jolie training. Jace. Interspersed with a young Jace Boucher having a vision of Aaron, well, a very dead Aaron. But it turns out that Sonny constantly has a nightmare that he on the school bus he's being attacked by the other students are being eaten by a crocodile with too many limbs and too many teeth. He wants to get up and help them, but he can't. He's frozen in place. But basically, Jolie's plan is to use Sonny as bait. It's successful, and Sonny watches as Jolie and the rest of the hunters with her take out the entire nest. Jace discovers what's happened, and well, he's not too happy with the fact that Jolie just poached one of his charges, and it's taken him to the butcher shop. That is where the issue ends. Well, Something That's Killing the Children universe is definitely panning out in some interesting territory. These are House of Slaughter and Something That's Killing the Children are two books that I honestly look forward to every month. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.